Today in America, there is a member of our great U.S. military that is transitioning out to civilian life. And there is a veteran who has been out for a while and is struggling with that same transition. Veterans are suffering from PTSD, TBIs, and moral injury. They may have been denied by the ones that are supposed to help them, and they are self-medicating with drugs or alcohol. Some of those veterans have lost the battle with their demons and sadly committed suicide. A statistic that is over 44 a day, and one is too many. Today in America, there is a family that just had 2 uniforms show up at their door saying, "We regret to inform you." And now they're struggling with the hurt, grief, and loss of a loved one, and now a Gold Star family. At the Veterans Ranch, we are committed to finding and serving these great Americans in need. We serve the ones that served us all. Through equine therapy, we are here to heal the deep emotional wounds that this community suffers from that you can't always see. We can't reach these veterans and Gold Star families without your support. So please visit our website or scan the QR code on your screen and sign up for just $19 a month. It is just that easy. For just 63 cents a day, you will help save veterans and Gold Star families that are suffering and provide free equine therapy, shelter, jobs, and the love and respect that they earned and deserve. This is a dire situation, so we are asking for 3,000 people to sign up and pledge today. If you do, we will send you this Veterans Ranch t-shirt. If you are wondering if your support will make a difference in these people's lives, we assure you that it will. If you have ever thought about helping these great people, then now is the time. It can be a rough life for veterans and Gold Star families, and for just 63 cents a day, you can change their lives forever. It could be the most important thing you do today. So go to the website or scan the code and support the ones that sacrificed more for your freedoms than you can imagine. They gave everything for you. Can you give just a little for them?
Right before we clicked record on
With a mission for Healthy Heroes, our goal is to talk alternatives, talk personal preference, talk about success. What works for you isn't always going to work for others. We ask you to join us if any of these sound familiar. Do you run activity programs? Activities like art therapy, music therapy, animal assisted therapy, outdoor adventure programs, sports and fitness programs, gardening and horticulture programs. These programs have been proven to reduce stress and anxiety, boost mood and increase serotonin levels, improve social skills, and reduce feelings of isolation while enhancing self esteem and creativity. They also provide a healthy outlet for emotional expression. What about a structured or heavily regimented program? These programs are designed to provide clear framework and routines that help individuals develop skills and stability in their mental health journey. Cognitive behavioral therapy, residential treatment programs, support groups with scheduled meetings, vocational training, and rehabilitation programs, or day treatment programs with partial hospitalization programs. Encourage accountability and regular participation. Help individuals establish daily routines for stability. They provide peer support and they reduce isolation. They also build life skills for long term recovery while focusing on measurable progress. This next one comes with its fair share of controversy. Safe, controlled psychedelic treatments. These treatments use psychedelic substances in a controlled environment under medical supervision to address mental health challenges. Psilocybin therapy, MDMA, ketamine therapy, LSD microdosing programs, and therapeutic or ceremonial settings. The benefits are vast, including allowing patients to process deep seated trauma. It improves emotional insight and understanding. It reduces symptoms of anxiety, depression, and PTSD. And it also promotes feelings of connection and empathy while catalyzing long lasting behavior and emotional change. Our final example for this video is mindfulness retreat programs. Mindfulness retreat focus on deep relaxation, meditation, and self-awareness, often in serene and natural settings. Silent meditation retreats, mindful movement retreats, nature-based mindfulness retreats, healing wellness retreats, and mindfulness for trauma programs. They enhance self-awareness and emotional regulation. They reduce stress and improve focus. They boost resilience against depression and anxiety, promote physical relaxation and mental clarity, and encourage spiritual growth and inner peace. Is there something missing from this list? Tell us about your program and all the good that you're doing, working to support our heroes and their battles with mental health difficulties. If you scan the QR code below, it allows us to discuss how working together will help so many. Please join us on February 22nd for Mission for Healthy Heroes. Healthier tomorrows for our heroes today. Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channel. We are moving along. Let's see here. We are into hour 9. Nine. 9 of 22. That We're moving along. We're moving along. This next little hour and a half segment, I'm going to tell you something. If you've ever heard the term drinking from a water hose, yeah, we have guests every 15 minutes. So we are going to be talking and we're going to be getting as much information as we can. But you know what? That doesn't mean that you need to sit still. This QR code right here, this little guy right here, the little big guy, little big, whatever. I'm going to stop playing with him now. All right. But this QR code right here is your chance to tell your heroes, your first responders, your veterans, your whatever, we support you. Send a message to someone saying, damn it, we love what you do. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Send questions to us. If you want to be anonymous, maybe it's something that you're just wondering about, but you don't want people to know who you are. Send us the question. Here's the thing, every time you send us a form, you're in a drawing to win some really cool prizes, like Thomas McNicholas, who sent us a simple message. Thank you for your service. He also attached a $10 donation, which we greatly appreciate. Thank you very much, Thomas. Thomas, for you sending in this message and supporting what we're doing, we're sending you a 1-year subscription to a For My Card. You can see what For My Card is if you scan this QR code, because that's my For My Card. Coming up right now is Professor Dr. George Grant. Sir, you really like having a lot of names. How are
Thank you.
you doing today?
I'm doing great, Zach. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Do me a favor. Tell us a little bit about what you've got going on. What are some of the things that you're doing, and how can we support you?
Thank you so much, Zach. So we have 5 hours here, or only 5 minutes?
Yeah, well, we got about 15 minutes.
Okay.
We've only got 15 minutes. I got a little bit longer to go.
All right. Thank you, Zach. Uh, my name is Dr. George Grant, and I've been doing what I'm doing now for 50 years. Yes, I'm 74 and a half. I'm going to be uh, three-quarter century and 75 by the end of April, in about 2 months or so. And I've been doing everything here to help my clients, because when I was 18 years young, Zach, I lost my mom at age 45 years young, half her projected age, from diabetes, obesity, and heart disease. We call it diabetes now. And I lost my dad at 60. I've never seen my grandparents. They died between 55 and 59. Never seen any one of them. So I committed at age 18 to become a victor, not a victim. So I studied 3 bachelor's degrees, 3 masters, and only 3 doctorate degrees, because I'm still learning about all of the stuff to focus on prevention, not intervention, self-care instead of crisis care. So this is what I've been doing now for the past 50 plus years, and helping 40,000 clients, Zach, all over the world, across Canada, across the US, Australia, New Zealand, and basically Europe, and across the world. So everything you need to know about me, but you're afraid to ask, is at academyofwellness.com. So the biggest challenge we have right now, Zach, is to prevent and reverse diabetes. This is the combination of diabetes and obesity. It's becoming now an epidemic, almost surpassing heart attack and stroke as number one killer. It's very hidden here, and it's just like, hopefully all of your listener do not have any of these conditions, and if they do, we offer them a way to detect and correct the lifestyle. Nothing can fix poor lifestyle. Your eating habits, drinking habits, sleeping habits, exercise habits. This is what we talk about, because nothing can fix poor lifestyle. Nothing. I do not know of anything in my career for 50 years to fix poor lifestyle. So how do you fix lifestyle? It takes 2 minutes, Zach. Just go to academyofwellness.com and complete lifestyle quiz. It takes only really 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes maximum to finish 10 questions. Every question is out of 10, so it's total 100. So I've done this with my 40,000 clients, and the average score I've got, Zach, 55%. So they need some help. I've got a client who had a score of 33%. He was type 2 diabetes, suffering for 10 years, taking 10 medications. And I said, "What is your score?" He said, 33%. I said, "Okay, let's work on that. Forget about the 10 medications because the lowest blood sugar he got from 450 is 370 with all of the 10 meds. So obviously the medication was suppressing his symptom, but did not fix his lifestyle. As soon as we fix his lifestyle, within 3 months, his blood sugar, Zach, dropped to 90 to 95. And his A1C dropped from double figures to under 6.5. He has released 33 pounds, and his lifestyle IQ quiz in 3 months is 88%. 88 from
Wow.
so you can see here he has no diabetes and he was scheduled for amputation. Amputation is canceled. No diabetes, no amputation by fixing his lifestyle. So I'm not against medications. If you're taking medications, keep taking, listen to your physician and take it. But just remember, it does only suppress your symptom until you fix your lifestyle. But if you do help yourself to improve your lifestyle and take the medications, that would be much better. So Jeremy now is not taking any medication. He's very healthy. He was scheduled for amputation. This canceled. No medication now. His blood sugar 90, 95 is healthy. You know, Zach, if I tell you we have thousands of clients like this, anybody listening to your podcast right now who have a challenge, we can detect it and correct it. How? Lifestyle number one. Number two, we have this wonderful app called Virtual Voice Scan. So I inviting all of your viewers and all of the people on listening to this to do the lifestyle quiz and do this scan to detect and correct their voice frequency, and then we can see exactly what is the root cause, or what is the red flag that correlates with blood test, correlates with MRI, PET scan, CT scan, ultrasound. And this, I have published 10 papers, Zach, on it in the medical literature. So this is correlated to blood test and MRI. No question about the validity of it. So I invite your clients to go to academyofwellness.com and book a session with me. It takes only 30 minutes. And the lifestyle quiz, you check 2 minutes to reverse any condition within 90 days. That's what I do, Zach, in less than 5 minutes.
Take a breath. Yeah, you did great, Doc. One of the problems, and my wife and I have both talked about this. We obviously we're getting older. Uh, for some reason, that getting younger thing, it just hasn't worked out the way that we were hoping it was going to. But yeah, so we're getting older. We've but we both work from home.
Yes.
Okay, we both are sitting here all the time. I'm on the computer, she's on the computer. When we're not talking to someone, it's almost like smoking.
Yes.
When I quit smoking,
Yes.
it wasn't the smoking that that I had the worst problem with. It was having something in my hands and putting it to my mouth.
Exactly.
I I started swallowing candy bars like they were cigarettes. And you know, I ended up I ended up packing on twice my weight when I did that.
Yeah. Exactly.
What is a good way to fix that lifestyle? What's a good alternative rather than me shoving more candy bars in my fat mouth, you know?
Actually, you know what, Zach? It's a very simple habits that we can reverse. So instead of smoking something like this, you can just put a toothpick, and then once you have something in your mouth, you're able to reverse your aging. So I recommend for you, just email me. I'll send you a copy of this book here, and any one of your listener interested to get a copy of this e-copy, I'm happy to send it to them. How to actually live healthy till the age of 101, even 111 or even 121 by keeping a healthy lifestyle. Because now we agree that nothing can fix poor lifestyle. What you just mentioned, Zach, is a new disease called setitis, sitting on your butt all day long for 8 hours or 10 hours a day. I had this condition, but I found a way to reverse it. It's a very simple, Zach. Every hour, take 2 minutes to get up from your seat and just walk for 2 minutes and come back and do some stretching. So this is actually reconditioning your body, and instead of sitting all day long doing podcasts and TV and all of this stuff, every hour just take just 2 minutes and do some belly breathing. Could you believe, Zach? My 40,000 clients, 95%, they do not do or do not know how to do deep belly breathing. You can call it belly breathing, yoga breathing, diaphragm breathing, breathing from the, not from the chest, from the stomach, from the belly. So
Yeah,
you do
breathing exercises is a relatively popular term right now.
absolutely. So this is really the key here is every hour you take 5 deep belly breath, not from the chest, from the belly. It's really simple process to get your oxygen to your brain. And then once the brain gets the oxygen, you have no fatigue, then you have no snoring at night, you have no sleep apnea, and then you have no dementia. Now, dementia, I wrote down about it, is type 3 diabetes, and it's proven now in the literature anybody with sugar problems is going to end up with dementia and with amnesia and eventually Alzheimer. So by doing the 5 belly breath every hour, stretching for just a couple minutes, coming out of your chair and walk, that is a solution now for everybody doing work from home, Zach.
That's I love it, and I've got this written down that I'm going to be getting a hold of you, Doc. I'd like to get you on when we have a little bit more time to talk. Obviously, 22-hour podcast, but everybody decided that they wanted to come on this hour, so
Yes, I
I
know.
do apologize for the shorter amount of
No,
time.
that's okay,
But
Zach. But you know what? On my website, Zach, academyofwellness.com, there's a whole hour on lifestyle with one of my healing wizards from Australia. His name is Paul Staten. There's a whole hour on it. People can learn about lifestyle in a whole hour interview. And then I'm demonstrating how this detect and correct lifestyle. So I advise your busy followers and people listening to this podcast and yourself to book a session with me for 30 minutes, and then we're going to go with you and your wife about how we detect and correct all of this lifestyle issues with your clients. And then guess what? All we need now is referrals, because I want to go from 40,000 currently to 80,000 if God give me another 25 years to live till the age of 100 to help them. I don't want to see any teenagers, Zach, losing their mom at age 18 or losing
yeah,
their dad at age 22. Thank you so much for the
yeah,
invitation. I
yeah.
appreciate you.
One last thing before I unfortunately have to cut you off. What is in your mind, in your words, what is the importance of your physical health for your mental health?
Extremely important. There is no mental health without physical health. We call it PMS: physical, mental, and spiritual health. These are the 3 dimensions in health. Let your food be your medicine, and medicine be your food. And you got to know what you eat, what you do not eat, and what's eating you for stress. This is what actually makes the physical health. No substitute for walking 1 hour a day. There's nothing, there's no pill. You cannot take Ozempic substitute or any GLP substitute for lack of exercise. Nothing that I know of. Just take, instead of 1 hour, take half an hour. Start even with 15 minutes. Start with that, and then 20 minutes, and then 30 minutes, and go to 1 hour. Baby steps. And then, you know what? Once you eat the proper stuff, you do the lifestyle IQ, eating your 9 vegetables and 2 fruits, and then eating the healthy stuff, and avoid anything to cause you food allergy. And that's what we detected here, Zach, with that test, which I'm going to do for you and your wife to see what caused you all of the allergies. Most people have allergy toward dairy, and most people have allergy toward the gluten. So if you cut back on gluten and on the grains and stuff and on the dairy, it's really simple process from there on. But we have to know what is bothering you physically that can affect your mental stress. And by the way, gut health is brain health. So once you have your healthy gut, you're going to have your healthy brain. How are you going to have healthy gut, healthy eating habits, drinking habits? I hope your clients who are listening to us drinking water, because our body is 70% water, not 70% soda, not 70% alcohol, not 70% caffeine. So we have to cut back on the bad stuff and increase the good stuff. Water, simple, water and
Yeah,
breathing.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
common
That
sense.
it does make a lot of sense. Um, Granted, I'm pretty sure that my wife is sitting in the other room, kind of going, "Are you listening to this, Zach? Are you listening to this, Zach?" Because I'm not very good at drinking water. I will admit. Okay, no, I'm terrible at drinking
Keep
water.
it,
I,
keep
I
it beside you and just take it and sip every 15 minutes. Just take a small sip.
yeah.
Healthy habits will make healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy living till age of 100, 111. Zach.
Well, well, you know what, Doc? Dr. George Grant has been joining us. If you look on the description of this segment, you can find his LinkedIn page where you can go and you can find everything about Dr. Grant. What's your website one more time?
academyofwellness.com. Very simple. Academyofwellness.com. It's on LinkedIn. I am on Alignable. I am on Facebook. I am on X. I am on Instagram. You're going to find me very easily by just typing my name or type Academy of Wellness and connect with me. Join me for free, 30 minutes. Pick my brain. And if I do not know the answer, I'll find somebody with more than 3 doctorate degrees to help you to get the answer. Okay?
That sounds great. And you know what, Doc? I will reach out to you sometime next week. I
Please.
want to thank you very much for being part of Mission for Healthy Heroes. Thank you, sir. We will talk to you very soon.
Thank you, Zach. Looking forward to talk to you. Bye
All
bye.
right. Goodbye. Wow. I feel so bad doing this, but like I said, it was everybody came at the exact same time, you know. So it is. There was the first part of the fire hose, and here comes Diane. Diane, how are you doing?
I'm wonderful, wonderful. Nice to see you, Zach.
It's good to see you again. It's you and I had a wonderful conversation uh, earlier. Was it last week or yeah, we
I think
about a week ago? Yeah, well,
yeah, there you
vague.
go. I know. Time flies. Yes, it does.
So
Yes, it does. No doubt.
you also have another you have a lot of stuff going on, but one of the things that you like to tell people is and make sure that they understand about this is what's called redox. Can you explain this?
Yes. So, redox is something that happens in our bodies at the cellular level. When you are in a redox state, your reductants and your oxidants are balanced, then you're healthy as a horse. But when they are not balanced, Zach, all kinds of bad things happen. And how do the redox cellular state, how does that get out of balance? It's called the junk in our system. It's called the junk in our system. There's all kinds of names. I call it pills, poisons, and parasites. So when we are out of balance, because cells are the underlying foundation of every organ, every system in our body, then what happens with a lot of us, we have been trained that a symptom needs a medication. And so, with that medication addressing the symptom, not the cause, oftentimes it that medication will create another symptom for
Yeah.
another medication. Okay, so I call it the SMS cycle, the symptom, medication, symptom. And I wished I would have bought stock in pill boxes about 30 years ago because we have all those Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday pill boxes to keep it all straight. The bottom line is, and I co-authored a book, as you know, Zach, called Let It. The body can heal itself given the proper environment. And what we're not trained to do is to pay attention to what we eat, how we hydrate, and how we exercise, manage stress, get our rest. We're not trained to do all those things so that we can allow the body to heal itself before these symptoms continue. So, part of understanding how to get back to a redox state is addressing those 5 pillars of health first: nutrition, hydration, rest, stress, and movement. But then we go after the junk that's in our system. Where does the junk come from? Is it the way we're eating? Is it the pills we're taking? And that's a dicey one. I think I might have shared with you, Zach, that just 3.5 years ago, my own daughter, my own blood daughter, was on 24 to 26
Yeah.
meds a day while under doctor's orders.
Yeah.
And she couldn't function. I mean, her brain didn't work. She couldn't work outside of her home. She couldn't even work inside of her home. She was nervous, high strung, couldn't sleep, and smoking and drinking out of boredom. And it was a radical mess. And that's when I found cell signaling molecules, the understanding of cell signaling molecules. And if we go just age alone, we stop producing as many of these cell signaling molecules as we need. So without getting too scientific, I mean, the bottom line is every one of those pills was addressing a symptom, not the cause. So the first thing we had to do, Zach, was to look at the ingredients of the pills and determine, do we need doctor's help to get off of this? Because I'm not a doctor like your previous guest. I don't know all of the ins and outs of what the drugs do, but I do know that there are some things that we can get off of on our own and some things that we really need to be under doctor scrutiny in order to do that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And if you don't mind, and because he's still sitting in the back room, I'm going to bring Doctor back on. Dr. Grant, and I had to pause you or mute you. Please unmute. But I tried to hurry you, not on purpose, but I tried to hurry you out of the room. But I swear to God, we just heard the same thing twice, didn't we?
Oh,
So it's two different. You're still muted, Dr. Grant.
mm,
Here, let me try to.
I think
There
I
you
got it.
go.
Yeah,
There you go.
I fully agree with what Diana, was saying here. 100% agreement with her, because I had similar experience here, Diane, with somebody who was taking 28 medications,
yeah,
28 medications, and two bypass and two stents, because he had 99% clogged arteries. So you know what? It's warranted. If I had 99% clogged arteries, I listen to my cardiologist. I'll be taking that. The problem is you've been taking it for 20 years and no
yeah,
change, and he was sent to hospice to die in 1998. So, Diane, what you said is absolutely correct. What happened to your daughter here? Because we helped this guy to improve his lifestyle. He has very poor lifestyle here. Ask him, what is it that you eat? He said, oh, nothing. It's just bacon and eggs. I said, you eat bacon and eggs for breakfast for how long? He said, for 20 years. I said, but you have 99% clogged arteries. You cannot have bacon. It's very fatty. He said, he told me it's okay. I said, okay, well, how much water do you drink? He said, I drink diet soda. I said, you cannot drink diet soda when you have diabetes. He told me it's approved by FDA. I happen to work with the FDA and CDC and Health Canada. I said, diet soda is not safe for diabetics. Anyway, I agree with you, Diana, 100%, because that's what happened to improve his lifestyle. Within 6 months, like what you did with your daughter, no meds, no bypass, and no medications, and then he's living
yeah,
happy. Guess what? You're not gonna be believing this, Diane and Zach. He's still alive at 103 from 1998 with no medications. What you have done for your daughter is heroic. You're among my heroes. And Zach is among my heroes because he
oh,
brings us on the same stage to tell people medication is only a temporary fix to fix symptoms.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. You gotta fix
you
oxidative
know,
stress.
I'm
Tell us a
humbled
little bit
and
about. Yeah, go on ahead and say what you were going to say, Diane. But then tell us a little bit about ASEA, and let us know
yeah,
what you discovered with ASEA, and tell us some more about it, please.
sure. First of all, I'm humbled and honored that Dr. Grant, with all of his degrees, um, supports my efforts and what I'm
Ah,
saying. Oh, and he's an ASEA user too. I love it. I love it. Um, that's wonderful. Yeah. But we teach people not to drink out of the bottle, Dr. Grant, because
I
of
know.
the shame on you. But I will say this, there's a lot of doctors that don't agree because they're um, unfortunately that's what they were trained to do, is to understand the pharmaceuticals that are available to treat the symptoms, and they don't look at the body as a whole. And one of the things that in it really was an honor and a privilege to work with my daughter for the last 3.5 years, but I will tell you, she was ready. Number one, you had the participant has to be in the frame of mind that they're ready, they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they're
yep.
ready. So when we started systematically taking her off of each and every drug, before we accomplished getting off of all 26 of them, 16 of them, by the way, were opioids that she should have been dead. Um, Changed her eating habits, got her on ASEA, which is ASEA is the catalyst that repairs and repairs damaged cells, replaces the cells it can't repair, and it brings your cell signaling back up. Now, let me, Zach, just quickly explain the importance of cell signaling. You can go about 30 days without food, maybe 3 days without water, maybe 3 minutes without air. You can't go 3 seconds without cell signaling. When did we ever learn that? So, right? Cell
Not even in
signaling,
science class did you ever hear anything like that.
not even in science class. So because cells are the underlying foundation of every organ, every system in our body, and they signal to each other that allows us to move our mouth, move our fingers, it's the color of our hair, our eyes, it's everything. Cell signaling is everything. Just with age alone, our body has a reduced capacity to produce the cell signaling, and cell signaling is produced in every single cell in the energy plant or the mitochondria of the cell. My gosh, it's gratifying to have a degreed doctor agreeing with me, because I've, I've argued with many of them who just think I am a whack job, and the only doctor I have in my name is my first and last initial, Dr. That's it. But I've I mean, so it's very gratifying. So thank you, Dr. Grant. But um, when when this cell signaling gets reduced by age alone, now add stress, trauma, and disease. And man, it just goes way down, which is why people don't get off the sofa for 20 years. They can't get well. They can't get better because this cell signaling is reduced, and then we continue to put more poisons in them, which they're going to get without pills. They're going to get it from the air they breathe, the water they drink, the food they eat. So you add all of that into a system that's already has reduced capacity. And by the way, when your cells are signaling property, your glutathione, the master antioxidant from the liver, is producing at a rate necessary for the body. ASEA not only repairs and replaces cells, but it increases that glutathione production as well. So, what is ASEA made out of? God made us using salt and water. And taste your tears if you don't think that's a fact. So, salt and water is what's used to run through this energy plant to produce these fleeting bits of energy that are called cell signaling molecules. Zach, it's the equivalent of trying to, grab a hold of the sparks that can start a fire. They're just, they're gone before you can hold on to them. So the science health breakthrough, the miracle of that breakthrough, was being able to take those cell signaling molecules, those fleeting bits of energy, and stabilize them in a big blue bottle that you saw Dr. Grant hold up, stabilize them in that bottle, and give them a shelf life. They said
Yeah.
it couldn't be done. They said it absolutely could not be done. So not only has it been done, but it's changing lives in 34 countries around the world for 14 years, and very few people know about it. Really, less than 2% of people in the world know about it. So if that's what helped reduce the cessation for smoking, for drinking, which helped her get off of sugar, which helped a lot of things. But there was still a component that I was missing, And again, going back to the Lord in prayer, I'm like, okay, if inflammation is the cause for most all disease, what causes the inflammation? Where
Free
does it
radicals.
start?
Free
Yeah.
radicals.
And so he got me up at 3 o'clock in the morning and said, chemicals, heavy metals,
Pesticides.
parasites. Yeah. So I'm like cramming on the keyboard. I'm like, what are you talking about? Parasites? What are you talking about? And I have gone down a path of parasites like you can't believe. In fact, my next book will be called Pills, Poisons, and Parasites. And it's all about what's in our body that no doctor will most now I don't have to say no because he's even nodding his head about parasites, Zach. I'm just so excited.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
they look at me like I am the craziest person in the world when I said, I had to have some stomach surgery in June. They had to cut out some intestine that was blocked. I said, take pictures. I want to see what's in there. And he goes, what? Why do you want pictures? And what are you looking for? And I said, parasites. And he goes, that's not a thing in the U.S. I'm like, where are you from? Right. So, I mean, 6 doctors over the last 6 months, and not a one of them thinks I'm anything but an old lady lunatic. I'm telling you, Zach, the next thing we did with her was we put her on an extensive parasitical cleansing, heavy metal cleansing, and again with products like ASEA that I can't hurt anybody with because I'm not even a scientist. I'm a researcher. And I know enough to know that whatever I share with people, number one, my daughter and I are the first guinea pigs. We're still alive to talk about it. And number two, they have to work at the cellular level because that's the cause. That's where everything starts.
Yeah.
And number three, it can't interfere with existing meds. And it has to be, you know, not not taking away from, say, for example, if somebody's on insulin for type 1 diabetes, I can't be known to interfere with that and cause more problems, right? So, non toxic, doesn't interfere with existing meds, but getting the garbage out and restoring the cellular um, capacity to produce these molecules, then the body can heal itself. And did I say that ASEA is made out of salt and water? Which is
Yes.
why it took people a long time to figure out salt and water. Are you kidding me? No, you go pour some salt in a glass of water and put a rose in it, and then do the same thing with ASEA. Put a little bit in a glass and put another rose in that one. See which one dies shortly. So yes, we start with salt and water because that's what the body uses, but it's not salt water when you're drinking it. It's changed into these molecules.
Well, I Doc, I appreciate you coming back on. Like I said, I was listening to Diane talk and I was looking at you and you were agreeing with everything she was saying. So I was like, you know what? We're going to put them together because I think it works perfect. I appreciate both of you. I appreciate your time so much. Hey, everybody, we need you to start scanning the QR code in Diane's Magic Square there and leaving comments. Okay, leave a statement to our heroes. Leave encouragement. If you want, please donate. But every time you leave a statement or donate or whatever you're going to do, if you have a question, you can use that box for questions. Scan that code, leave a comment, leave a question, whatever, and you could win a prize. All our some of our guests are leaving gifts with us that we are giving away throughout the day. So please scan the QR code, fill it out, donate if you can, but it's not look, this isn't a state lottery, no purchase necessary. So just leave a comment, fill out the form, and you know what? You could win a prize. Both of you, I appreciate your time today. I hope you both have a great, great rest of your day. And more than that, thank you so very much for being part of a mission for Healthy Heroes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
we will talk to you both later in the week.
Okay.
All right,
You will.
goodbye.
Bye.
So that was again so much information, everything, and again, two in a row right there. Without physical health, you cannot have mental health. And I've said this a lot throughout all of this stuff, throughout doing all this, that honestly, when I was hurting, when I had that pain after the motorcycle accident, the head, them not finding the broken neck for 3 years, this was all things that it hurt. And it made me, it was depressing. And it was bringing me down. It ruined relationships. It ruined friendships. Because when your body fails, everything fails. Your mind fails. When your mind fails, you fail. So, again, we are throwing anything and everything out there because you know what? It may be what you need. It doesn't particularly mean that you need to try this. We're not telling you to try anything. We're telling you these are out here. Diane can be there for you. Dr. Grant can be there for you. They're all sitting here saying, if you need to talk, let's talk. Again, you can find the information for all of our guests. You can find their LinkedIn tags. Sorry, lost my mind there for a little bit. You can find their LinkedIn tags right there in the chat attached to this video. So go on there and check them out. Go on to LinkedIn, follow them, become friends with them, have conversations. You don't know what these conversations are going to lead to. And more than that, you don't know whose life you can change with these conversations. Again, where it's something that I may not want for me. I may not like for me. That doesn't mean I'm going to run into somebody later on today that I'm going to say, hey, you know what? I was talking to somebody, they had this, they had this product, they had this program. With what you said, it sounded like it might be interesting to you. It could change their lives. It could make their lives so much better. All we have to do is listen to them, listen to ourselves, and listen to the people who know more than we do. Not very many of us are 16, so we don't know everything anymore. We realize that now. When we get older, as I said earlier, I wish I knew as much as I knew when I was 16. I knew everything when I was 16. So, once again, I want to thank you all for joining us for a mission for Healthy Heroes. Introducing Shop, Click, and Pick, the simplest way to support those doing good in communities everywhere. We understand that shopping is a necessity, but with a slight adjustment, you can make a huge difference without spending any extra money. Here's how it works. Please visit communitypayitforward.us and navigate to the Find Your Partners tab. Discover our verified giving partners, which are trusted allies ready to meet your needs. Shop with any of the partners that resonate with you. Click a picture of the receipt or invoice, then pick the mission partner you wish to support and use their QR code to send the receipt directly to us. After that, all you have to do is sit back and enjoy your purchases, knowing that you've made a meaningful change for someone in need. Community Pay It Forward amplifies your business's impact by sharing the story of those who require your services, rallying support for those who need us all. Because no one needs to go it alone when we all come together. Well, I really should be a little more proactive and go back through and change my logo where it needs it. That's obviously the old logo. We did change it at the beginning of the year. We now have a green color to it. Not for any particular reason, except for when I created that logo, I put the colors together that really looked good. They popped. They were great. They were awesome colors. That brown and gold, it was fantastic. It was just great. It's my high school colors. You gotta be kidding me. I So I wait and decide, you know what? No, this isn't going to work. I'm not going to sit there and go with the brown and gold because every time I look at it, it takes me back to high school or the CU Buffs. I'm in Colorado. I am not a CU Buffs fan. So I take and I'm like, okay, what other colors go together? Well, my favorite color is green. So, okay, we'll do green and gold. Take and walk outside, and the first thing I see is the flag for the CSU Rams. Well, I like the CSU Rams, so that's going to stick. Hey, everybody, welcome to Mission for Healthy Heroes. Thank you very much for taking and spending some time with us today. We are able to do what we are able to do today because of special support from some of our builders. Builders like Veteran Biz Connect. I was just introduced to him last week. He loves what we're trying to do. And he said, what do you need? And he said, I want to take and I want to sponsor you. And I want to thank Thomas. And you're going to get to meet him. He is actually here in, well, just a few hours. He's going to be when we hit the 14th hour. 14th hour. Wow. That means that means at that point in time, there's only 8 hours to go. Wow. So we are right now, we're in the 10th hour. So we're doing, no, we're still in the 9th hour. So we're about ready to hit the 10th hour here in about 2 minutes. So, but you know what? We're doing good. We're having a lot of fun and we're getting a lot of information. And again, it's our special sponsors like Scott O'Sullivan with the O'Sullivan Law Firm and Ryder Justice, Z World Webs, Veteran Biz Connect, and so much more. They are part of our program. They're part of what we do. And our program is built on trying to help people. If we lose people to suicide, if we have people who take their lives, we can't help them. So we need to make sure that this is one of the first and one of the more important things that we do. We need to work on doing this, work together to make sure that people understand. And it was said earlier, and I just want to reiterate this. You know what? If you're not here, there are people who are going to suffer. We started Footprints Forward because of that reason. No matter how softly you walk, you always leave footprints. Look, you're always going to leave an impression with someone. I'm not going to say it's never happened to where somebody left this earth and nobody cared. I'm not going to say that because we just don't know. I think it's highly unlikely that somebody left this earth and everyone celebrated. I know there's a few people that we look back in history and we're like, yeah, well, they should have been happy. But that's not the point. The point is, we are here today to make sure that people have the information needed to find the cure that they are comfortable with. Again, we talked to Alicia this morning, and Alicia was talking, and she made it very, very clear how much her spiritual learnings, how much God meant to her and to her healing after sexual assault. I'm not a guy, I'm not a person at all, that I'm not religious at all. But I am never, ever going to discount what Alicia said for herself. We don't have to believe the same thing that each other believes. The world is a hell of a lot better place if we don't agree with everything each of us is saying. It's kind of nice actually to be able to have a conversation with somebody when they're not sitting there going, oh, yeah, yeah, yes, yes, yes. Some people, I guess, like that, but I don't. I like to have a little bit of, it's kind of one of the reasons why we get into sports like we do. It's great to have a buddy, who's on the opposite side. You know, you get to sit there and you get to razz each other a little bit. You get to have the debates on how the refs are screwing your team. No, they're not, but it just seems like that sometimes. But it's always fun to have somebody on the other side, partly because you can learn stuff that way. You're never going to learn things that you already know. You're not going to learn from things you already know. You're going to learn about things when you don't know them. And that's the reason why we're bringing on people like the doc, like Diane. They've got products that look, they've worked. They've worked for people. I know for a fact, I know a lot of people who, and this isn't a sales pitch. I know for a fact that there are a lot of people out there who drink and swear by ASEA. Some of them are some of my great friends. Some are part of this program. Does it work for everyone? And this was one of the things that Deb and I talked about when we were talking about my experience with it. It didn't work exactly how I was wanting it to. Did that mean it didn't work, or did that mean that it didn't work for what I was hoping it worked for? Hard for me to tell. I don't know. Because I was looking for results from that one thing instead of looking at the overall body. I kind of became a doctor at the time, and I was looking at the medication to fix the ailment, and I wasn't looking at the root cause, and I wasn't looking at everything else. So I probably did myself a disservice by not paying attention to everything. Long story short, I've tried ASEA. It didn't work for my headaches. But you know what? I know plenty of people that it worked for. I will never sit here and say that means that I am not ever going to I'm not ever going to bring it onto the program. No, because you know what? If it works for you, that's what we want it to do. And we're not going to shy away from anything. I am not a fan of, and I'm going to say this again, and it's this is difficult for me to say. I've been on painkillers for over 30 years. I'm not on 28. I am addicted to painkillers. And because of that, I have a disdain for painkillers. I also have a disdain for doctors who don't take the time to find stuff out. When they take and they pump you full of medications and stuff like that and tell you that, hey, I'm going to give you this to deal with the pain. Yet 3 years later, they find out that your neck is broken. Is that my fault for being an addict, or is it their fault for not looking properly? When I went into the doctor and when I went in to go to the doctor and I saw a nurse practitioner, this nurse practitioner at one point in time told me, and this is another part of the situation I had uh, with my own struggles to get through the motorcycle accident. Is this nurse practitioner said, "No, you're just in here to get more painkillers." And I was like, "I am absolutely not in here to get more painkillers. I really wanted to find out what the hell was going on with my neck. Why did my neck hurt so bad? Why could I not move my arm? Why couldn't I function? Why couldn't I lay down flat at night? Why couldn't I do all these other things?" The accident was over, 2.5 years ago. I should be able to turn my neck more than this, but I couldn't do it. Well, you just need to go in for more physical therapy so we can take and stretch your neck in a way that you shouldn't be stretching your neck because it's broken. I don't want to give you an excuse for me being addicted to painkillers. I'm not going to give an excuse. There is a reason behind it. It's still my issue. I still need to work on fixing that. But that's the reason why I see things like ASEA and like what Doc brought in. And I see these as great things because I'm going to try them to see if it's going to help me get out of my situation. 16 years ago, I quit smoking. Oh, jeez. 18 years ago. Damn. I was smoking 3 packs a day. Okay. And I'm not saying this to celebrate me. I was smoking 3 packs a day. Set a date, February 6th. I set a time, 5 o'clock. I lit a cigarette at 4:10 or 4:50 because generally it took about 7 minutes to smoke that cigarette. I put that cigarette out. I walked in. My buddy was in the house. I had 3 cigarettes left in a pack, and I had 3 packs left in a carton. I gave them to him, and I haven't smoked since. Once again, conversation with Doc there. I replaced cigarettes with candy bars, and I started shoving candy bars into my mouth. He mentioned, by the way, he mentioned toothpicks, and I I really the thing I did for the fidgeting on the fingers, and I don't know if this is going to be an interest to anybody, but this is what I did. I took and I grabbed straws, and I would put straws between my fingers because it had like the same girth, and then I'd put them in my mouth and I'd chew on the straw. Probably not the best thing in the world to do for your gut. Neither are toothpicks. But that's what I used. I used straws to help get rid of that. And granted, I also was shoving candy bars like a crazy man down my throat. Not that that's changed much any at all. But coming up in about 20 minutes, I'm taking a break so you get away from me. And that's because my lovely wife and her very best friend Jan are going to come on and they're going to talk about families of veterans. Jan, um, Jan's a wife of a veteran who struggled quite a bit, and she's definitely got a different perspective and a perspective with the family, dealing with families. She's got that knowledge that you know what, it's not just the one person who suffers; it's the entire family. But we're going to keep our momentum going right now, and we're going to bring on another guest who's also going to talk about things that we put into our bodies that are good, not candy bars. I know I tried to goad her into candy bars once, and she wouldn't do it. She wouldn't take it. She is a community pay it forward giving partner. She is a dear friend of mine, and I am so glad to bring you Miss Terry Thompson. How you doing?
Hey, Zach, I'm doing amazing this morning. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good still. 10 hours. We're in hour 10. So we're doing good. It's been amazing today because we have learned a lot. We've had a lot of people pop in. We've had a lot of people who are giving us, a lot of different perspectives, and I think that's so important. Like I was just saying, there are different ways of going about things, and I know that there are different things that we do, and there are different dangers out there. You work with a program that helps clean up some of that junk that we may not even know that we've been doing this to ourselves. Please tell us a little bit about what you've got.
Well, first off, my focus is on holistic health and nutrition. I do focus on nutrition because that is our foundation for health. And I was listening to your two previous guest speakers and spot on with them. It's about making simple changes in our life, making simple changes in our daily habits. And it starts really with the foundation of health. Now, I help people through coaching as well as offering different supplementation depending on what their needs are. The basic foundation of health, though, is our nutrition. And so I do offer a nutritional support product that I feel um, is beneficial to just about everybody out in the world. It's concentrated fruits, vegetables, and berries. It's a simple way to get the extra nutrition that we're not eating on a daily basis. And it gives us a foundation to build on so that we can make simple changes in our habits that will give us lasting changes in our health. Extremely important. And it's important for people that are supporting our loved ones in the military. It's also important for our loved ones that are serving in the military. As I know with my son was in the Navy, it was the one thing that kept him healthy when his shipmates were getting sick. So having the ability to have a foundation of nutrition, even when the food that is available to us may not be the healthiest. But I help people focus on making those changes. And candy bars aren't wicked. You just have to choose wisely. Dark chocolate is actually beneficial to you. It's all the other added ingredients that we don't need.
And by the way, I love dark chocolate too.
That's my favorite, and I do indulge. I indulge in a little piece of dark chocolate almost every day because that's my go-to. But it's just simple dark chocolate. It doesn't have, it's not the Snickers bar that I used to indulge in with all the extra goodies in it. It's just simply dark chocolate.
Yeah, see, now they've started making these Reese's peanut butter cups with everything in the world in them. They made one, and I don't get this one. They made one with potato chips, and I'm like,
Ooh,
Reese's. Yeah, Reese's peanut butter cup now has a Reese's peanut butter cup with potato chips.
okay. Well, that definitely would not be your healthiest choice. So,
No, I'm definitely going to say that one's probably far away from your healthiest choice.
yes,
If
yes.
yeah, if you're going to be going to look for a healthy snack, staying away from a king size peanut butter cup with potato chips, you're not going to have any trouble keeping me away from that. To be honest with you.
No, you're
Yeah.
better off having a little dark chocolate and maybe a handful of nuts along with it. Then you're actually feeding your brain, you're feeding your body something healthy. Dark chocolate has antioxidants in it that are actually good for us. It's the milk chocolate with the added sugar in it that we really don't need. And then, like I said, with those candy bars, they add all kinds of other stuff in it that is not good for our bodies. Um, yeah, but I help.
And it's actually kind of weird, and I've just got to bring this up because you mentioned milk chocolate. Do you know what one of the key ingredients to Hershey's milk chocolate is?
It's well, besides sugar and oil.
It's the milk being just short of sour.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, the milk was souring when Milton Hershey poured it in there, and it gave it that unique taste. And I was like, "You what?" when I first heard that, I'm like, "Oh no!" So, but tell us a little bit more, and tell us what you really want to do with Blue Jeans and Berries. Tell us what your goal, your mission, and plans are.
Well, my goal really is to make healthy living simple, easy, and comfortable for people. We overcomplicate health, we really do, and there's a lot of confusion out. If you start Googling, you'll find all kinds of different quacky diets and things. I like to make it simple for people, comfortable. Blue Jeans and Berries is really about making it second nature and comfortable, just like slipping on your favorite pair of blue jeans. We don't have to think about that. You put on your blue jeans, you don't have to think about what matches with it. You throw a t-shirt, throw a sweatshirt, whatever. You can dress them up, you can dress them down. Healthy living needs to become second nature for us. It needs to fit our lifestyle, and it's not the same for everybody. We have to look at our daily habits and where can we start making simple changes that are sustainable for the rest of our life. It's not about diet. I don't like the word diet because the first three letters in diet, go figure that one out. And
Yep.
and diets are not sustainable. We don't go off a diet so that we can splurge. I mean, you go off a diet. I'm on a diet. I'm going to go off my diet this weekend so I can splurge. You don't go off of healthy living. You don't go off of your daily habits or your lifestyle. You don't say, I'm going to stop my lifestyle this weekend so I can go out and have fun with my friends. You make that fun. You make that fit into your daily life. You make it fit into your lifestyle. It's not an all or nothing. And this is what I love to teach people is it doesn't have to be all or nothing. If I tell you you can never eat that chocolate again, it's going to make it more desirable to you and it's going to make it really hard. If I can tell you that if you can clean up your act 80% of the time and really focus on feeding your body the nutritious food that's going to fuel your body, fuel your mind, then 20% of the time it's okay to indulge. It's okay to go out and have pizza and beer with the boys once a week or once a month, or you just don't want to do that every day. It's the daily habits that we really have to focus on. And teaching people that the processed foods that we are relying on day to day are actually harming us. And what can we swap those out with that is still simple and easy, but is going to fuel our body and nourish our body in a way that allows our cells to repair and regenerate healthy instead of tearing our body down. And that's really what Blue Jeans and Berries is about. It's about educating people and helping them make healthy living fit into their life, no matter how busy they are.
Yeah, and I gave I gave a little secret about myself in the last segment. Here's another one. I am a pain in the ass when it comes to fruits and vegetables. Okay, I like vegetables. I love vegetables when they come from a can.
Okay.
I You start throwing stuff like asparagus, peas, cauliflower, broccoli. Ugh, I can't do it. I don't I don't like the taste of them. I just don't. With one of the programs you have, you don't really have to worry about that because it comes in a it's in a juice form, right?
Well, actually, no, it's not in a juice form. It's in a powder form that's encapsulated or into a soft chew. So you can either enjoy it in a soft chew or you can enjoy it in a capsule form. And you're getting the nutrition that way from 30 different plants without actually having to chew them up and eat them and taste them. So it's a perfect solution for the people that, like you, who don't adore vegetables. If you're not eating raw or fresh vegetables, you need to get your nutrition elsewhere. it a vitamin isn't going to be the answer. Vitamins, multivitamins have been proven to not be effective. They thought that was the answer 80, 90 years ago. They've now found that it isn't the answer. But whole food nutrition, when you can get whole foods that are in a concentrated form into your body, your cells recognize those, it recognizes that nutrition as food, and it knows what to do with it. If you take a multivitamin that's been made in a laboratory, it's synthetic, it's fractionated, it's isolated, and it gets into your body, and your body doesn't know what to do with it, and most of it flushes out. Some of it can stay in the body and become toxic. Fruits and vegetables, your body recognizes. It knows what to do with. So it's a simple way to get that nutrition that we're not eating, and it is a way for people that don't want to change their diet to actually see significant improvement in their health without making those dietary changes. So it's not, is it for everybody? Not necessarily. I have people that love to eat fruits and vegetables and they are eating 13 plus servings a day. They may not need supplementation. But for the average American that may be eating only 1.5 servings of veggies a day, and French fries and ketchup do not count, by the way. So that does not count. So if you're not eating it, you've got to get it in your body some way, in some form. And this is just a simple way that I found. I've been using this nutritional support for over 14 years now. And it's impacted my health in a positive way. It's impacted my children's health and many of my clients. So it's just a simple way to bridge that gap, as they say, from what we're eating and what we really should be eating.
Well, this is going to give us a good segue into my wife and Jan's segment. They're going to be taking over for me here in about 5 minutes. You told me a story about that honestly, it was so eye-opening and really it was a little heart-wrenching, and it made me feel for you in a way that I'd never felt because I'd never heard a story like this. But can you tell us about when you realized that your son was no longer your son?
Yes. Oh, so my son, a little background on that. My son was in the DEP program. He went into the Navy right out of high school. And I dropped him off at the recruiters. And a few days later, I got a box in the mail. The box contained no note, nothing in it except for my son's personal effects. It had his shoes, his socks, his underwear, his clothing, even his retainer. Everything that was him was stripped from him and put in that box and mailed to me. And when I opened that box, first off, it did break my heart in a way, because it's like he had nothing left of himself when he went into the Navy. He went into boot camp, and they strip everything away from them, and he now belonged to the military. He was theirs. I didn't see him for over 3 months till he got through boot camp. And then when I did see him, I had to fly out to Chicago to see him as he graduated with his class. He was not my little boy anymore. He was not the young man that I dropped off. They returned a man to me. They really did. I mean, he was so different, but in a good way. But that, for a mother, it is really hard to give your child over to the military, knowing that you now have no say in his life whatsoever. You don't even have communication with them for months. You have an occasional letter during boot camp. They're not allowed to make those phone calls home. When they're out at sea, they're not allowed to make phone calls, unless they're like my son and is in the radio communications and figures out how to wire his phone to the.
You're going to get him in trouble.
He's out of the Navy now, but it is it that box, that impersonal box with all of their personal effects. I mean, everything that they had. I mean, they tell you when you drop them off that you only drop them off with nothing. They don't take anything with them. But I never expected to get that box back, that box of his clothing that he was wearing that day. I mean, down to his underwear. To me, that was heart wrenching. It was, you open that up, and it was just, wow, my son doesn't belong to me anymore. Here I raised him for 18 years, and now I have the military. He belongs to the military. He belongs
In a very unsubtle way, they told you, well, enjoy your memories, because your child's gone.
My child is gone. The boy I dropped off is not the boy they returned to me. They took him and turned him into a man. I mean, they returned a man to me. He was and is to this day a phenomenal human being and a phenomenal man. And I could not be any prouder of him than I am. I mean, he just makes me proud every day. He served his time. He did 6 years with the Navy. It was hard. It was hard for me. It was hard for his sisters. It was hard on his grandparents, his aunts, uncles, not being able to see him for long stretches of time. It's difficult. It is difficult. The one blessing I had was he never served in action. He was on a destroyer, but he was on a peacekeeping mission. So I didn't have to worry about him being in battle. I couldn't imagine as a mother what that's like, but you still worry. There's still that worry, and the not knowing, the not knowing, and not being able to pick up a phone or text him, or the FaceTime, or all the things that we're used to being able to do with our children. You can't do when they're in the military.
Well, like I said, Terry, that story, when you told it to me, when you relayed that to me the first time, I was like, oh, a little verklempt, if you will. But and it never actually gets any easier, I mean, I know that my son, he comes to town, he comes to the country every once in a while, and when he takes off towards that airport, I'm like going, oh my God, he's going back to Japan. When the hell am I going to see him again? Um, and it's definitely an interesting road. But I want to thank you so very much for being part of the program. Um, again, Terry is part of the Community Pay It Forward program.
Mhm.
So that means when you visit her website, and you can get to her website by going to communitypayitforward.us, blue jeans and berries, and it'll take you straight to her profile. You can check out everything that she's doing, contact her, get a little bit of coaching, get yourself a little bit or a lot of bit more healthy, and you get to support other people in the community. Terry, thank you so very much.
Thank you, Zach. And I would like to add too that I do offer a free 30-minute consultation with anybody that has any questions on nutrition or not sure what their next step is in their health. I'm happy to have that 30-minute conversation with them and get them pointed in the right direction.
All right. So you heard it there first. We will make sure that we put that on the website when I get back to working on Monday.
Awesome. Well, Zach, thank you.
Instead of just being some faux TV star.
Well, we know the real you, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, unfortunately, you do.
And I do appreciate all you do for our veterans, and thank you so much.
Well, if you would do me a favor and please do contact your son and let him know that, you know what, we're doing this show today in appreciation for what they've done. We're doing this show today just to make sure that people understand that there's no reason to put it bluntly, there's no reason to have to feel like shit when there's ways out there to make you feel better. Okay? Again, this isn't a one size fits all. This is we've got something that can fit you. So, and I think that what you bring to the table here, I think that's wonderful. And I do thank you so very much for bringing it.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you. I
All right.
appreciate you. All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much. Goodbye.
Bye.
We are, again, you can get to Terry through Community Pay It Forward. Just go to Blue Jeans and Berries. And we're moving along. And now you get to get rid of me for a little bit for something entertaining. Something that's, well, quite frankly, something that's just not me. Two people who I love dearly are going to be in your hands now for the next hour and a half. It's going to be my wife, Adrienne, and her very best friend, and my really good friend too, Jan. They're going to talk about the family aspect of suffering heroes. So, going to do our little spot here, giving kudos to our building partners, because without them, this wouldn't be happening. Thank you to all of them. You're going to be talking to a couple of them here in a little bit. But for the next hour and a half, please enjoy Jan and Adrienne as they talk about woman stuff.
All right, there we go. And why is she little and I'm huge? We're not doing that. There we go. Oh, what do you got now?
She's muted.
She'll unmute. Jan, you're muted. Unmute.
Nope.
No. Do you know how to unmute her?
I know how to ask her to unmute.
Okay. Unmute request has been sent. Okay. Now is it working? No.
Oh, she's got a problem with her speaker.
Uh-oh.
You may have to come back or go out and come back in, Jan.
What's going on with your speaker? What's oh. Okay, let's see what happens here. It definitely would not be us if it wasn't technical difficulties. Did Jeremy have any?
Mm-mm.
No?
No, except for YouTube kicking them off or kicking us off for
Did
a
that
little way.
get fixed?
I hope so. But
Yeah, Jeremy. Yeah. It wouldn't be us if it didn't happen. Do we need to re-invite her? What do we need to do?
no, all she
Okay.
has to do is just come back in. So, but part of live TV, I guess, is dealing with all of this wonderful, wonderful stuff. That's right, I said TV because I wanted to act like a faux TV star.
TV, computer, I don't think it makes a difference. It's all there.
I've said it before. I'm like the fat
this?
Jack Tripper.
Why is this doing that?
It's probably still just Jeremy's
No,
comment. Should be.
yeah. Yeah. Let's go back this way and this way. There we go. Now it's gone.
So, did she lose the link?
I don't know what's going on, honey. You see as much as I do.
That person. I tried to block that person before. There we go.
Okay, let's see. All right, do we have... No, we don't have sound. Why don't we have sound? What is going on? Push to talk. What? What is that?
Try it. Apparently nothing.
Okay.
Jen, is your microphone set to something different? Like maybe switch microphones?
I think she's on her laptop. She can't exactly switch microphones. Yes and no. What I did was stop the live, and then when I've healed, it added the video back at 40. Okay. Wouldn't play. Okay. Hey, Willow. We're doing technical difficulties. Oh, what's this? That's new.
What?
It's showing her her connection.
Is low?
It's not showing low. It's just showing a bar missing. Like ours has the full and hers has the one missing. I just don't know what this push to talk is because
I don't know. I've never used it, so
have you seen it before?
never looked at it. So we're sorry, folks. Just bear with us for a little bit. We're trying to get this to work right.
Listen off stage feeds. Maybe remove that? I don't know. No. Why is it always us that does this too? Okay, she's going to try her phone instead of this.
Gotta love cell phones.
Well, apparently they're going to work better than The laptop did. I know mine does it all automatically. I don't mind my cell phone.
Is that Jeremy coming on?
He's just on the offstage feed. I'm guessing. I don't know. Yeah, he's on offstage feed. Yeah, I don't know what this is either. Listen offstage feeds.
That's supposed to make it to where when you play a video, they can't hear you in the background.
Oh,
It doesn't work.
no. That's how come you've recorded many, many things with.
And had to re-record them, and then had to re-record them because I forgot to unmute myself. And
Oh, well, Jeremy figured out something. Let's see if. Does your mic work?
It should.
Oh, yep, yours is working. Okay.
So that's why I originally came on here. I was going to see what's going on with Jan's screen, see if maybe I might be able to figure something out.
I don't know. See, yours isn't coming up with that little icon that says push to talk. It was like a walkie-talkie. And it said push to talk, but yours isn't that.
Push to talk.
Yeah. There was a little, like on the pictures on the screen on the bottom left, it says push to talk with a little walkie-talkie there. Yours doesn't have it. Mine doesn't have it, but hers did. So that's something completely different.
I don't know.
Is that a vacuum cleaner?
sure is.
Hey, look at the resolution on the camera. All the little silver in my hair is like looking like tinsel. I don't like that. It does. It's like seriously glowing. No, hell no.
You did say how old you were on Thursday.
I did. I'm hoping people were drunk and don't remember.
So you don't want me to tell them?
Not exactly.
Okay.
It's a whole different program, whole different audience. No, they can think you've got a trophy wife.
Okay.
Let's see if she can.
Okay. It allows others to communicate with other participants via voice chat by pressing a button to activate their microphone. She's got to press it down to activate their microphone.
But she couldn't even see it.
Hmm.
Now let's get her back in here, and I'll take a look and see what's going on.
Yeah, once she gets on her phone, she should be fine. The site can't ask for your permit. This site can't ask for your permission.
What?
That's what she got. I'll tell her get back on her laptop. Let's see if that'll do something.
I've been doing a lot of working, trying to get stuff off of YouTube to get it onto Spotify. I finally got my shows, the two 13th Dimension shows on Spotify.
We can turn that one off.
I had to re-upload the entire third segment onto YouTube.
That's I guess it's not that hard. I've just never done uploading to YouTube.
It's not hard. Um, Depending on the size, it can be time consuming to upload, but that's not something you have to oversee.
I'm guessing because when Zach does his, like uploading a what is it you had to upload the last time? Oh, it was interviews things like that, it it takes a long time. It was taking hours to upload from wherever he was doing it to actually a show.
It shouldn't be taking anywhere near that long.
Okay, she's restarting her computer and trying it that way.
Okay, everyone, and just remember the green QR code you see right above Jeremy is how you can leave a comment or a suggestion or a heartfelt message to our heroes in support of what they do. Let them know that you support their work. Let them know that you love them. Let them know that you're here for them. Whatever you want to do. It's also a place that you can leave a donation, or if you're a business and you would like to be involved in what we're doing, you can leave a donation for us to give away. Like we've already given away 1 year subscription to For My Card to a friend of Adrian's who sent a message of "We support you."
Who?
The guy from last night.
Oh, that's Oliver friend.
Well,
That's
okay.
Tom. It was
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah,
I
Tom
guess his
Nichols.
nickname is Pickle Tom or something.
No, that's the other Tom.
Oh, okay. Not Pickle Tom.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
No, it's Tom and Nicholas.
Yeah. So, but he ended up picking up a 1 year subscription to For My Card.
Those things are awesome. He does filming. Is that right? He does different
Yeah,
forms of
the
filming.
the other Tom does.
Yeah, that's the one. That's who it was. So that's that'll come in useful for him.
Oh.
He's got his hands in a few things. Quite a few things. Oh, she was messing with the mic and it restarted. So that's why she had to restart. What is that?
That's Jared.
Okay. Yeah,
I had to make an appeal on the 13th Dimension channel, and they just got back with me saying that it doesn't violate our self harm policy.
It's because the word suicide was in the title.
Yep. Yep.
I'm still not liking AI. Just don't like it.
No. Well,
You
and
can't tell when the picture's real. You can't tell. Mm-mm.
and I also got an email from YouTube. Hi there. We're reaching out because members of the YouTube community, including fellow creators, viewers, or staff, have expressed concern for your safety or well-being after coming across content you posted with topics related to suicide and self-harm. Okay, I can appreciate that, but you're totally missing the point.
Yeah,
The entire title, and you will know that I'm not considering it.
well, that and nobody that knows you had a concern or turned it in. That's bull.
Yeah. Well, it's AI,
Yeah.
and the title specifically says veteran suicide awareness.
Maybe next year hyphenate it.
Well, the Mission for Healthy Heroes is the actual name of the event now. I got rid of
Okay.
the word suicide altogether,
Okay.
Yeah,
and
gonna
just
have
because of that.
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
When I re-uploaded, I used the new title on it.
yeah, I
'Cause
was wondering maybe hyphenating it would cause them to skip over it. I don't know. Since it's AI.
Yeah, well, you can't trust AI on anything.
Yeah, no. No.
Well, apparently you can't trust computers right now either. So, the red. If you go to and you want to switch it, that's the one for the shirts and stuff.
Yes, she is.
Okay. Speaker connection. Okay. Now do we hear you?
I hope so.
Yeah, there we go.
You now. Okay, that is weird. Push to talk.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess from what Zach said, she would have to push it in order to have her mic come on. I don't know. I've never seen that before.
And do you see a walkie-talkie on your screen at the bottom of the computer?
Next to your little picture. Oh, we're
No.
not going to mess with it because it's working. So we're not going to hit that little button.
Well, I'm clicking on it, but it's not doing anything.
What in
Say
the world?
something, say something, Jan.
I am talking.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's working.
I'm clicking on it again. Now say something again.
Yes.
No, it's working. Now, if you hold it down, it comes up with little like voice waves, but it doesn't do anything. It makes no
Yes.
sense to me.
I have no idea. My computer freaked out and it restarted. I was trying to mess with my mic settings. And I was like, oh, of course.
That voice wave, if you hold it down, it only registers your voice and nobody else's.
Okay. Hey, why don't we have that with on our show where we can just have somebody shut up?
But none of us have that. I think that's only available on a guest picture.
Okay. Well, darn. I tried.
Well, since everything is okay now, I'm going to go ahead and see myself out.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy.
Have a good show.
Bye. Okay. So now that we kind of sort of have everything figured out as much as we're going to,
Well, it's fitting for us.
yeah, that's what I said. If there's not issues, it's not our show.
That's right.
Okay. So we're going to start where we should have started a long time ago. This is a different audience than what we usually do. So you have been military from birth. You grew up military. You were married military twice like a dummy. And so you don't know too much of life outside of that. So you would have some knowledge on how to handle different things or how you've seen other people handle them and how maybe things worked and things didn't. So Tim brought up something which we'll get to, Tim Kohler when he was on, which we'll get to later. But I'm really curious about this one because I've never asked you this one. Okay, so first going in, you knew kind of what to expect from your dad. But first going in, when it was you, it's your responsibility now. It's not mom and dad's responsibility. It's yours and your husband. What what was different than what you experienced growing up?
I had to memorize a different social security number. um,
Uh-huh.
oh, I mean, different from growing up, the responsibility for sure. I had to deal with TRICARE now. I had to make sure that the bank account was joint and was like it was a lot more responsibility. I am. I know. I love my dad, and he was in the Navy. So for us, he was gone for extents, and then he was home for stints. So one of the things that was very different on the end was like my husband's field problem, and he was gone. And here I am. I have all the bills, I have all the responsibility, I have everything laid upon my lap, and I have no one there. My spouse is gone. I cannot communicate, to help me through this. And thank God, my first husband and I were very we did everything together with finances because of that, or the grocery shopping. So, for me, the sense of community was different going from a military child to a military wife. Um, Now I'm not required, but it's expected of me to join the FRG and to go to the meetings and to be up to date on everything. And the responsibility of, like, when September 11th happened, um, oh shit, nobody's here.
Yeah.
We're left with rear deployment, and we're kind of stuck in the middle of an island and in the middle of an ocean, and it was absolutely terrifying without communication
Yeah.
to our spouses.
I think that's what a lot of people don't understand is, as readily available as cell phones are, um, if you're deployed, they are not, because you don't get to just pick up the phone and say, "Hey, what would you do with this? Hey, what do you think we should do with this?" That's not an option.
No, no, it's not. And then as a military wife, you have another sense of duty, and that is you have to protect your country, and you have to protect your husband, you have to protect the unit. So, for example, when September 11th happened, we were told that we were not allowed to tell anybody where our spouses were because we were left vulnerable. And the island was left with rear detachment, which the whole island was at a war game during September 11th, and they were in the middle of this, activity. And that's when September 11th happened, and all communication shut down. It was like, no, we cannot communicate. And I couldn't tell my sister-in-law, no, your brother's okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's fine. He's safe. He's where he needs to be. That's all I could say. I couldn't tell a military wife how long it was going to take to get into the gates, because that was a no-no. No, it's a communication that's hard, and that's just during a moment of attack.
Yeah.
And everything shuts down, and the whole base goes on alert. And where I was at, I was on Wheeler, Army Air Force Base in Hawaii, and historically, that was attacked pretty hard. So we went on complete shutdown. We were to be in our houses. We couldn't leave. Nothing. They were flying people out. It was crazy. It was a madhouse.
That's something that Scotty and I think actually Jeremy brought it up, but Tim and Scott were talking about, even after the fact, they couldn't, there's still things that they can't tell anybody, their wives, anybody, doesn't matter. But the wives have that responsibility also.
That's right. The thing is when you join you join anybody that you join in union with anybody in the military, okay? And you become their spouse, and you have their children and everything else. It is a job in the military. The military prefers the women to stay home. That is their job. So during wartime, everything can run smoothly at home. There's already a base of operation, and home front is secure, and the man doesn't have to worry. It is our job and our responsibility to hold down the fort. Sorry, my grandson. He's over here he's pounding on the chair.
Osias, what are you doing, baby?
But we had a sense that we have to protect our husbands from a lot of what was going on here.
Yeah.
Now my first husband and I divorced, and then my second husband was deployed when we were together. And there was a lot that I didn't tell him. There was a lot that we just didn't communicate about, because he didn't need to worry about it. I didn't need that on the forefront of his mind. So it was my job, my responsibility.
Right. Adding more to their already full plate.
Right. And then, on the communication end, something that, if something happened on base there in Iraq or anywhere, it was a shutdown of communication, and we couldn't communicate whatsoever. So I remember he went quiet for 2 weeks, and I was in the utmost panic. Utmost. I knew something was wrong, with just the military background of knowing, right? So you I don't know. You figure it out. It's a job.
That's and okay, so we're talking about veteran suicide and the things they go through and why they might have that happen. What about statistically, do the wives? Is there an issue there?
Yeah, there's a huge issue there. I mean, with anybody who is left at home, and they deal with it on their own. We have what we call the adjustment period into the deployment. We have the what we call the we get angry. This is going to sound really funny, but it's easier to be mad and it's easier to be angry in the final moments before they leave. And then you have that I love you moment. What do you want, temper tantrum? He is something else into everything now. So, and we then we do it all ourselves. We're holding it all together. And then we prepare for them to come home. The problem is we don't know who's coming home.
Right.
That's a stress and that's a worry.
And that's something that somebody that has not been in me. I don't know. You marry a certain person and you marry them for those traits, and you get to know that person. And then when they're not that person anymore, is it really the person you married? And then how do you go forward from there?
Journey has a song, Faithfully. All right. And then there's a line, basically, I get to learn how to love you all over again.
But there might be some traits that are just not as lovable.
Right. But you have to accept that that's the person that you married. And this is where hopefully, you have faith. Mm-hmm. And you can turn to your faith. Hopefully you have a foundation between the two of you of friendship and love and communication that you are able to be the person that they go to in their darkest moments. Hopefully that base foundation of friendship and communication, love and respect, you as a wife don't cross that line and we never ask questions specifically or directly. You ask the general question of, are you doing okay? Mm-hmm. You will know if they lie to you, and then you sit down and you have to call them out as their friend. As their friend, if I see you doing something that's going to be detrimental to you, your relationship, I'm going to be like, Adrienne, what the actual is going on here? Mm-hmm. So you should be able to do that with your spouse. And make sure that you have a support system with inside of the FRG or your sisterhood of military wives, or the wives that have been there before. Those are the wives that you're going to turn to look to what worked in this situation, what didn't work in that situation.
Yeah.
So hopefully before you get to that deployment, you have base ground lines that when they come back, it's guided out, right? Everybody needs rules and regulations, and in a military, you need consistency and you need rules and regulations in your marriage. And that sounds funny, but something like, I know somebody who's like, okay, when you get back from deployment, it's really hard for me to accept the fact that you're going to discipline the kids. It's not your job. I've been doing that for the past year. Please don't tell me how to do this because I've been doing it for the past year. This is my routine. This is my kingdom. This is my domain. This is my job. Don't come in and tell me how to do it. And
that would be hard for both.
Right. So you have to find that common ground again when they come back. And if they're gone for a year, sometimes it takes 6 months, sometimes it takes a year to a year and a half to find that grounding again. But if you have those rules and regulations and you have those guidelines in your marriage for deployment and communication and check-in points and honesty, and you have that faith, you,
Yeah.
when they come home, you should prepare for happiness of you being united, but understand also that they've been living in isolated condition away from everybody, and it's going to take them time, so you need to give them their space, right? That's You need to give them their space with the checking in, with the making sure that everything is all right, with the making sure that you and your marriage is okay, the kids and their relationship with your spouse is okay. And it's a lot of work. It's
Yeah, yeah. It takes a special person to do it. I could not. Um, that's just not. I mean, yeah. I guess if I absolutely had to, I maybe, but no guarantees. But what about, okay? So your dad, was he in conflict time?
I hmm, my dad had seen some stuff, yes. I can
But
say
but
that.
was there a war
Not
going on?
direct conflict, not like
Okay,
um not like nothing like that, but my dad did what we call the side work.
preventative.
The preventative, or how many people know that the military is in.
And
So
then,
those jobs are not broadcasted for
oh
reason.
no.
you know
And then you have, okay, so your first husband, was he in conflict?
No, but no, yeah, he prepared for conflict. So with my
Right.
first husband, it's kind of difficult because he was medically discharged and he hit his 72-hour mark, and at 73 hours we got a white lightning strike phone call, which is rapid deployment, all boots on the ground, and we had to follow chain. And Travis went in, and it was a no-go. He was at 73 hours and he would have had to re-enlist. So I dealt with a different type of trauma, and that is getting ready for war, getting prepped for war, and then telling that soldier that they have to stand down. And like the lady before us was talking about, that child that didn't come back, he came back as a man and had a sense of duty.
Mhm.
That's the sense of duty that they have, is that they need to be one with their brotherhood, and they need to be out there with their brothers and their sisters fighting on the front line with their doing their job. So when the first of the deaths rolled around from his unit, it was very hard for me, because I didn't know how to handle him and the guilt that he was having, of that survivor's guilt.
Can't
So
fix it. We can't fix somebody, and that's where I have issues. Can't fix them.
no, so and that's not the reason why our marriage failed. But it was something that we had to work through, and we talked about it a lot. And he still has it. He will always have it. It's just something that we have to live with. My second, that's a whole bunch of guilt in a whole different aspect and realm of things, and what he gave up personally
And
for
he
this
was
life.
in war.
Yeah, he was in war, and he was there for a while. He was there a lot longer than he should have been, but due to his job duty and his specialty, he had to stay. He was stop locked, and Congress said, no, you can't leave, and we own you, and this is the job you're going to do. And he understood that, and I understood that.
Mhm.
Um,
Now, when he came home, that was a whole different aspect of the person.
yeah. So when he came home, one of the first things that I noticed is he likes to shove the bottle down his throat, like he can get it down faster.
Like he starved.
Yes, yes, yes. Um,
Absolutely not.
no, he had quite the array this morning for breakfast. Um, so one of the first things that I noticed is like in the middle of the night he jerked awake and went and checked on all the kids and then grabbed Derek and pulled Derek really close to him. He wanted to reconnect, but he had been doing what he was doing for so long that he couldn't. He gave up a huge part of himself for this country, and for that I'm forever grateful. And I'm very proud to have been his wife and to know the man
That he was.
that he was.
Yeah. But the thing, even in our daily lives, without any of that, we can relate to a point of, so, we're about to lose somebody, or we know that circumstances are about to change. We have a couple of different, I guess, defense mechanisms. One would be hatred. If I hate them, it's not going to hurt. So I'm just not going to get close, because anything I get close to gets taken away. Just no.
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
we go into a spiral of depression when it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming they prepare themselves in that way.
We as a military community understand that nothing is guaranteed. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. And when they come back, sometimes
They're never going to be the same person. I mean, that's if they have
no.
through.
We take somebody, say, that's been undercover for so long, and they become that person, and they truly believe that they are that person, and they live with, all of a sudden they're working for the bad guy, right? They're looking at the good guy like, well, what the hell is your problem?
Mm-hmm.
Look at what we're trying to do over here. And they get lost in that persona. That's why they have to be pulled out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to apply that to somebody who's in the military. They have to lock down those feelings. They have to lock down those emotions. And sometimes they don't know how to unlock that box. And when they do, it's absolutely terrifying. Why? Because then they have to face what they've done. And it's not that they haven't accepted what they've done, but they just need to compartmentalize it. That's where it needs to be. That's where it needs to sit. They don't need to go through it again. And that's where the post-traumatic happens, because our brain goes, no, you're going to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
So when your soldier comes back home, communication is huge. And they may get irritated with you, and they may get frustrated with you, and you don't have to be persistent about it.
Mm-hmm.
But you will know signs if they're not themselves. So you will know if they're acting, because if they're okay the second that they get home, they're bad actors. They're not okay. They've been practicing this in their head for fucking months.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with me, because I'm sitting on the other end and I'm practicing what it's going to be like when you come home.
Yeah. Do they have protocols in place?
Yes, they do. Every soldier coming back should go through what they call is the mental check. So they come back, boots on ground, they get home, main homeland. They should be going in for, eval.
Is that the debriefing?
That's the debriefing. They get their suicide talk, they get their mental health talk, then they get their mental health evaluation. Depending on where they were at and what they were doing, sometimes this takes up to 2 weeks. Sometimes it's just 72 hours or a week. They get you back to your base and everything else. And that's where you see most of the time the soldiers coming home and coming to the base. They've already been stateside, and they've just been defragging. Yeah. So it's something as stupid as we take for granted every day, driving. Do you know that it is not recommended for a soldier to drive when he comes back from overseas?
I can believe that.
Because they're not supposed to stop. They don't stop. They don't stop at roundabouts. They don't stop at red lights. You see the military coming, you stop for the military, because if they stop, they're vulnerable. So they have to keep on going. So if you're standing in the middle of the road, you will get ran over.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that, a lot of people don't necessarily understand. So you have soldiers with road aggression because of these things, or they're so used to,
Yeah.
and they have to reprogram and they have to rechange. Sleeping in their own bed sometimes, actually a lot, 99.9% of the time, sleeping in their own bed is a hard problem.
Yeah. Now they've been on grounds, or they've been on cots, or they've been on rocks, or wherever they land.
Hmm. Upright in a plane,
Well, that goes into, okay, so they do the debriefing, they do, the suicide talks. Okay, a lot of them have not even processed what's happened. They haven't transitioned from where they were to where they are. They
Right.
haven't transitioned into what we would call civilian.
They
But
are supposed to
yeah,
have
yeah,
a continuance of check-in. Now, in like my second husband's case, there was no going back. He was getting out. He was on stop loss, so they lock him in place, like I said. And so his time was up and he was past his retirement. So he basically literally flipped the IG off as he was going through the gates and said, I'm not doing anything more for the US military. I have done given up the best years of my life. I am broken mentally, physically. I am tired. And that's another thing. We don't know what their physical body they're actually feeling.
right.
I mean, my second husband walks around with a broken back and a broken neck, and he's doing construction, and he's doing this, and he's doing that. The sicknesses that they come down with, they don't necessarily tell you when they hurt. Um,
Yeah, and
that
that's
plays
what
into attitude.
that's now where we're starting to actually talk about it, because the military was not talking about it and the wives didn't. We're in a different world now where a lot of things are discussed. And one of the things that I'm seeing in our little world here is there is not continuation of care for the veterans. Yes, I know that there's a lot of people that claim to be veterans that are out with signs that never were, but there are some that were. And how do we allow people that gave up everything, and including their life? I mean, in one way or another, whether it's their real life that they had before or whether it's their actual life, how do we allow that to just, you know,
So here's a different aspect of that, if I may. An aspect that maybe people don't look at. My second husband is obviously not in the picture anymore. I will never speak another word to him. I will never see him again.
Mhm.
I had to walk away because he made the choices he made, and I had to just carry on and move forward with the mission, which is raising the children in the best environment that I can raise them in.
Mhm.
Sometimes they do it because they have to. I'm fortunate enough, although you've been by my side since the beginning. Um, I've had to worry about him. I've had to worry if I'm gonna get that phone call, if I'm gonna get that knock at the door. I still have to worry, you know, because I'm still legally binded to him. So my mental strain with that is a lot. So how do we allow people to just live on the streets and stuff like that? Sometimes they need, well, and he wasn't on the streets, but I think you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, there's some you can't do
Work,
anything for because
right.
they refuse.
I've worked with the homeless, veterans at King's Veterans Center in Wapaka, Wisconsin, which is one of the biggest nursing home. It is the largest nursing home facilities in the United States,
It's its
and
own city.
it's its own city, and has its own postcode and its own post office, and Yeah, laundry mat, and it's a huge facility, right? And we took care of the homeless veterans, and it's really hard. And there are programs out there. The vet is going to have to want it, though.
But this is more along the lines of, I mean, here we don't have anything like that. Nothing in Colorado like that. And I mean, yeah, they have nursing homes. Sure.
Well, they do. They should have programs if you contact the VA and stuff like that. But
Oh,
that's the
they
problem,
do.
finding them.
Oh, like Dad goes to the VA. He can go to the VA. They and this is not the first person. I didn't know this happened until I started asking around. His teeth are so bad that they're poisoning his blood.
Mhm.
And that's not a good thing. Anyway, the VA will not do anything about it. The
Mhm.
reason? Because that did not happen while he was in their care.
In their care, and that's something that I hope, I'm really praying gets changed, because I'm a firm believer that, especially if you've been overseas, and that's, of course, we have our difference of the VFW, we have our difference of the Legion,
Mm-hmm.
which I recommend every veteran get a part of. And if you are a veteran spouse of somebody who's been overseas, get a hold of the auxiliary and join that auxiliary and get those numbers up. That's one thing, is the Legion, the VFW, and the auxiliary need to have their numbers up, because what they do is they go out and they fight. They're the ones on the doorsteps.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones saying, we need this. But if they're not there anymore, then those veterans aren't going to get the help that they need. So they need to remember that they still need to be a team. They still need that family. And
Oh, yeah.
through the VFW, the Legion, and the auxiliary gives those wives that support,
Mm-hmm.
that aftercare support. It gives those wives that chance to reunite. And I miss my military sisters. I wish that they were auxiliaries so we could reunite and get together at some of these meetings and fundraise.
Mm-hmm.
And your fundraising brings awareness.
Yeah.
And that awareness brings more money, and that more money brings more programs and more opportunity to get the new members up to date and get computer systems and get what they need. Support your VFW, your Legion, go to their fish fries, sit down and truly ask them what they need. And they will tell you that they need their numbers up. So if I'm going to say anything for aftercare, the second that you get out of the military, you should be joining one of those programs
Mm-hmm.
immediately, to continue to have that bond, to continue to have that support, to continue to have that brotherhood.
Yeah. I know that there's links missing. I mean, there's something missing between when they go and come back and the rest of their lives. There's something missing there, because one of the girls that used to work for me in New Mexico, I just watched her little TikTok, whatever it was. I knew her dad was military, and I knew he had been fighting Agent Orange, which is what Uncle Barry just died of. He actually lasted a lot longer than his brother did, which was months after they told him he had it. But this man has fought it for a long time, and all of a sudden they took away. First, they took away his oxygen, which I understood. They told him, "You either stop smoking or you don't have your oxygen."
Well, yeah, that's a danger.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, he didn't do it together, but still, I understand why they could do that. I get that. Second, they took away his pain pills. And it's like, okay. He goes
What
to
did they
the ER.
replace it with?
Huh?
What they replace it with?
Nothing.
That's my rebuke. Like,
Yeah.
I would have been like, well, what are you going to replace
Yeah.
it with?
Yeah.
I
And
understand
that's the
getting your vets
problem.
off of drugs and getting your vets off of painkillers, but not somebody who's terminal.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. They didn't tell him. I mean, yes, he's terminal. Yes, he knew he had Agent Orange, but that wasn't, he was going through kidney dialysis, things like that.
So
So
hospice, I worked hospice. And the second that you get a diagnosis like that, you can be on hospice. It's end of life care. And at end of life care, we don't deny any of that. So the VA is completely wrong and they are crooked. The VA medical system is crooked and needs to be
that's
re.
what I'm getting to. Um,
I'll say it.
he and this just I would have always said no, that doesn't happen. Or you said something wrong, or you did something wrong, or he was abusing the pills, or some reason, but it wasn't. He goes to the ER because he's in so much pain at this point. And, when there's pain on top of pain, you think there's something else going on other than your normal stuff going on. And his daughter was in there with him, and the doctor comes in after all his scans and says, "How long have you had bone cancer, sir?" He said, "I don't." And he said, "Okay, give me a minute and I'm going to make a phone call." Calls the VA, gets the records. They've known for 4 years and never told him, never treated him that he had that bone cancer. They just put it up under Agent Orange and didn't elaborate that he had it, never told him he had it. And this is why he's hurting.
We have people that are coming back with that metal toxicity. And that's one thing that I know that my second husband probably has, and part of the
Mhm.
problem that we were fighting, along with the post traumatic and the stress and everything else. Um, but that I hope that RFK is going to come through and revamp the VA.
We
I'm
need to revamp a lot of
I'm
the VA.
and I hope that the one thing that you know what, I'm going to be, this is going to sound, I'm going to be a broken record with this again. It used to be the second that a member got out of the service, we had somebody from the VA or the Legion, the VFW and the Legion sitting right there going, "Hey, listen, this is what we do. This is why we do it."
Yeah.
Once again, I'm going to say the VA hospitals are crooked. Don't even get me started on the nursing homes and the care that's received there in those nursing homes. It twists my stomach.
Yeah.
No, we need our members to stand up because there's more of them.
Yeah.
There is more of them
And so
than anybody else,
in
especially
all
the
this,
members too.
yeah, and in all this that we've just discussed that happens, I can understand why they feel like there is no help. And
There
this
is
is it. This is rock bottom, and I may as well end it.
This is the thing. This is what we need to look at. If there is no help from the outside, then how can we join together to make sure that we are heard? That's once again the Legion, the auxiliary, that is the VFW. Make sure you are heard. Go out there and state your claim, put your foot down, raise your voices, stand together. Join those organizations. I'm pushing for it. Look it up. And if you don't have an auxiliary, all you need, baby, is 4 people. And it's not the women's auxiliary anymore because we have a lot of military husbands, that are spouses. So you know what? Join it. Join it. And if you are a child of somebody who is overseas, join it. Make your voice heard. And then you stand with the VFW and you stand with the Legion and you get those VFW and those Legion members to go out there when that service member gets out and say, "Hey, listen, we need you. I know you just gave everything, but we want to give to you, but we need your help."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have to help yourselves. So if there's no help out there for you right now, then we have to turn inwards and we have to help ourselves and we have to be accountable and knock on those doors. Go, stop fucking texting.
Mm-hmm.
Stop fucking texting. If
Yep.
you live there, I don't care. Go buy a card game and go knock on the door. I don't give a care how old the person is, and say, "Hey, listen, I'm here to spend some time with you. I got some milk, some cookies, or I got some beer, chips, and salsa. Let's play some spades."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's have that one-on-one check-in time, even if it's just silent communication.
Yeah.
And hold to it. Stop texting. And those at a distance, pick up the phone. I can't read what somebody means by text, but you can hear it in their voice. You can hear it by their breath. Turn on those empathy skills and really listen. And then encourage that person to go to the VFW or the Legion or the auxiliary if it's a spouse, because the spouse needs help too. And that's where I turn to. I pick up the phone and I call the auxiliary. Listen, I'm having a problem. And then the auxiliary picks up the phone and calls the appropriate people. And they go and they knock on the door and say, hey, son, let's sit down. Let's have a talk.
Yeah.
Because the only other person that's going to know what they're going through is that soldier. And they need those older soldiers to look to on how they got to them. It got where they are to begin now. How did you make it? That soldier needs that visual help.
Yeah.
That proof in the pudding,
So, and that's another thing is, let's say somebody who's never had military family, or other than by marriage, how can they help? That would be.
Listen, I had a moment with, I'm not going to mention if it was A or B husband, but I had a moment where there was obviously it was B. There was some severe post-traumatic there, and something triggered him, and he flew into a post-traumatic moment, and I was left to deal with it on my own. And it involved a firearm, and then it involved surgery, a month later on my knee. And I had to literally manhandle him and put him into place. Did I expect the civilians, as I'm going to put them, the non-military people, to understand what I'm going through? No, but you should get the kids and get the hell out of the house, and maybe don't call the cops for, oh my God, there's a domestic. Go, we have a post-traumatic situation with the military personnel. And that's another thing. Train our police officers, our fire department, and our EMS to go in to handle the post-traumatic. Teach them how to go in there and handle somebody. I don't care if it's suicide. We used to have suicide negotiators. Where are they now?
Yeah, I've noticed here in the last couple of years that, I don't know if it's everywhere, but I know it's here, that let's say you call and say, hey, I'm having this issue, and the person I'm having the issue with has a mental disorder, and you say what it is, and they send a negotiator that specializes in that mental disorder. Once you're not a child anymore, that's gone.
So do you know something? I'm gonna tell everybody this. This is a little known fact. Do you know it is illegal to commit suicide? So if you attempt suicide, you can be held liable.
No, actually, I did not.
So yeah, and that's something that's really messed up, and a lot of people don't know that, but it is illegal to commit suicide. So for common sense purposes, why am I going to call for help for something that's illegal? And we don't have mental health in this community anymore for anybody. You need to build your communities. You find your military personnel that are out there, and you hold on to them. I just met somebody in Wilcox, Arizona, when I was on a small vacation. Was stationed at Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, same place I was stationed, or not stationed, but was living. My first husband was stationed. We lived on the same street. Everything else, turn around, and like a couple of days, yesterday, I get a Walmart delivery order, and the guy's like, he said something, and I went, yeah. I said, but I'd rather be here than Hawaii. And he goes, man, Schofield Barracks sucked. I just looked at him and went, oh, you too? He goes, yeah, I can't even do that, and there's a bond there. Even though they served, I was the military wife there. There's a bond, there's a commonality, because Hawaii sucks as a duty station. It really does. I'd rather be in Alaska. But there's a bond there. We just nod, and we just know we understand each other, and we support each other. And I throw out, hey, I appreciate the fact that you chose that shitty duty station. And he turned around and told me, I appreciate the fact that you supported your spouse in that shitty duty station.
Yeah. And how many in your time of living, on the barracks or being around military spouses, how many times, not even maybe in wartime, but in, when they went out to do their routines or practice or whatever it is they do,
Field problems.
yeah, how many times did you see that they came home to nothing because the person couldn't handle it, or
A lot.
they just decided this isn't for me?
A lot. And you know what? I tell you what, I have seen a lot of good marriages in that way, a lot of good couples in that way. And it's a damn shame because that's why us military wives have the job that we have. I am very grateful in my transitioning into a military wife. I had somebody that was by my side,
Mm-hmm.
and she helped me along the way with the little things I may not necessarily have known.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the guys would go out on the field problem, or we had that stretch where it was like 3 weeks between payday and we were all sucking for money, we would get together and we would cook out. We would gather all of our resources and make meals. The guys were gone. It was time for the girls. That was our time. That was our time to raise our kids together, to be a family together. Everybody says, "Oh, you should rely on your family on the outside." No, you rely on your family on the inside because they're the ones that understand what's going on. And
Yeah, your family on the outside, they know who you were. They don't know what you have to do.
and they don't know who you are now. They don't understand unless they live that military life.
What
Um,
would you tell a military, not even maybe your child, but any 18-year-old wanting to enlist, or a lady or man wanting to marry somebody that is in the military?
so I went through this with my kids. I was very honest. I said, if you want to join the military, I said, it's a lot of sacrifice, but it's worth it.
Mhm.
You're not going to become rich, and you're going to have to learn how to be a couple in multiple different ways. And you're going to have to learn how to be a couple with somebody that's different in multiple different ways. You're going to have to find strength, faith, and foundation in areas that you never understood before. Somebody who comes home every night, to their spouse and to their children, it's a luxury. Um, you have
Yeah.
to prepare for a life of solitude and be okay with it. And know that it's worth it
I
because
forgot to change it. There we go.
in the end, what you do receive is you receive those lifelong friendships. You make those memories. You see the world. I would always get like this like pain in my heart knowing that it was like 3 years we have to move, right? But then it was like, oh man, I wonder. And it was always a gamble of like, who's going to be at the next duty station that I'm going to know? And
Yeah.
you know somebody at that next duty station because as big as the military is, it's small.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, so what's she been up to? Like, where's the good places to eat?
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
keep in contact with your military loved ones, and family that you make.
So I
Uh,
finally changed the QR code here. This is to the shop where
oh,
we can get merchandise for this event. I really want that sweatshirt. I want it.
so no, like I don't know. So I just telling young people, I tell them, don't do it for the free healthcare. Don't do
Yeah.
it for free
Yeah.
house.
No, it doesn't
Um,
happen.
well, I mean, it's free healthcare, it's free housing, it gets taken out of your check. Do it to have the experience. Do it because you have a love and a passion for this country. Know that you are going to make sacrifices, and it's possibly going to be with your life, and you're possibly going to kiss your spouse for the last time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And treasure those moments. It makes you really treasure life. As much as my first two marriages failed, I am very proud to have been their wives in those times. I am very proud to be the mother of their children. I'm very proud to know that I married men who were willing to put their life on the line for this country, and that's a sacrifice that a lot of us don't understand. But that goes for the same for the police officer that puts on the uniform, for the fire department personnel, for our border
Yeah.
patrol, for our ICE units, for our federal marshals, for anybody with a job like that.
Yep.
We really need to sit down and make sure that we're there for all of them, because once again, just because they don't go on deployments, for them, it's every day.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
everyday reality. And then the trouble is at home. And
Yeah.
just know that these men coming home from overseas don't just carry their post traumatic and their stress of overseas, you know, that directly deals with them. Sometimes they worry about it coming to come back and bite them in the ass here at home.
Yeah.
Okay, there's always that lingering thought.
Yeah.
So just know, if your spouse isn't telling you something, it's for a good reason. Don't push it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
And they're
that
not going to tell you anyway if
is
they think you're in danger or if they were, sworn not to.
right.
So the one thing that I never did ask you about is Tim had brought it up, and I thought that's an interesting thing nobody thinks about. When they come home, some of them, like yours, um, were in charge of, like Tim said, billions of dollars of equipment, or they were in charge of many men, or a building, or whatever the case might be.
Mine was XYZ. Yes.
So, coming from that and coming back to civilian, they're done with the military. What is out there for them as far as jobs? Because now they have the PTSD, they have what experience they had. There's no way that they could put to work here in the civilian
DOD,
life.
a DOD job. A lot of times, like I really wish, like when Trav got out, we talked about Brown and Root, him going overseas and supporting the soldiers that way.
Mhm.
You look to your government jobs. You look at keeping a job on base. DoD workers are all around, and what you find with and you are a preferred hire. Look for places that prefer hire military, and it's not because they get a bonus. Home Depot is a great place. I'll support Home Depot with that. They respect the military like you wouldn't believe, and our Olympians. So a lot of times, they prefer people that work, military and stuff like that because of their mindset. Try starting your own business. Try going out and working for yourself. Start that contracting business. You have those skills. You ran those numbers. You ran that budget. You built that building. Go out, get your schooling, get your grounding. Um,
Yeah, but
Sarah,
now it's hard because wife stayed home. She's not
go to school.
going. She's not bringing in income,
Go to school.
and
That's
you
what
have to
the GI Bill
immediately
is there
bring in
for.
income.
No, that's what the GI Bill is there for. You use that GI Bill. You live off that GI Bill. It pays for your schooling and your housing and your bills and everything else. And you get and apply for those grants and apply for those you don't have to pay back loans.
Yeah.
The military out there, the people that are coming back from overseas have no idea the scholarships that are out there. They have no idea the loans that are out there. Go sit down with a school counselor. So when you come back from the military, instead of jumping back into the civilian world, start off slowly and go back to school, get your grounding, get your footing, get used to civilian life, because it is an adjustment. It is a huge adjustment because you're used to structure. For me, I'm like, no, you know what? Hey, did Captain give permission for you guys to be at work until after 5:30? No, no. Well, you know what? I just might go ahead and give him a call because it's like 8 and it's Halloween and we've been dressed for like hours, so I'm sick of this. You know,
Yeah.
just
Uh,
saying.
are we off at 12:45?
You don't have that anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, take that opportunity, go to school. Make sure and in that time point, make sure that your mental health is right and join whatever organization you want to join. Um, get your health definitely
Mhm.
up there. Make sure you fix yourself. Get healthy. Like I don't know what the segment was before, but I liked the end catching of it because it talked about healthiness. And yeah, get healthy. That's the number one thing you have to do. Get mind, body, and soul healthy. So go to church. You
What is
know,
it she does? She has for people that don't want to eat vegetables and fruits.
It's called Juice Plus,
Okay.
and it's dried or powdered supplements that gives you your daily required fruits and vegetables. Because you need and that's what I
yeah,
told her.
Zach. Yeah. Uh-huh. We need
That's
our fruits
exactly
and
what I told her. I
vegetables
said,
in
you
our
know what,
diet.
I'm lousy when it comes to that.
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm.
So, and I told the people before, the two guests before that I was terrible when it came to drinking water. I do not drink water.
I tell you what, I ever since I got really sick a couple of years ago, and I changed everything, and I'm on vitamins, and I'm on my doTERRA and essential oils, and I'm on my fruits, my vegetables, I'm on my water. I have a huge difference. My CRPS has taken a back seat. I've done the physical therapies that I need to do for after my surgeries and everything, and I feel great. And I contributed to the vitamins, and my mental health and my mental clarity is on game. I don't have to drink coffee in the morning if I don't want to. The world prefers I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, if our veterans came back and we had like a detox, right? Let's get them on some vitamins. Let's get that vitamin D. Do you know that in Wisconsin, the suicide veteran rate is high because of the lack of vitamin D in the system
Oh, I
of
believe it.
our veterans? And lack of vitamin D leads to depression.
Oh yeah. That's why there's seasonal depression.
Yep, and it's worse for our soldiers.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's because of I'm not saying the vaccines are bad, but I'm saying they receive a lot of vaccines that take a
Mhm.
hard hit to their body.
Yeah.
So why don't we, after they do get something like that, why don't we pump them up full of vitamins?
Yeah.
I do believe that our military should be on a better health care system that way, and they should be healthy. And when they come out, get those healthy vitamins in their system and let it be lifetime.
Yeah.
They deserve that.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have to pay for that.
And their body's already fighting whatever,
Right.
on top of the vaccines, but wherever they were, the new bacteria that's been introduced to them and the
Red air.
chemicals.
Don't even talk about red air. Red air that those guys were exposed to is nasty, and it's literally red, and it's thousands and thousands of years of feces
That's
flying
got to
around.
be good for you.
So, I mean, like, let's get them healthy. And if you get their body healthy, it's easier to get their mind healthy because then their mind's not clouded and it's not focused on the pain and it's not focused on the misery and it's not focused on the reminder. If you could take away the pain of the reminder, say, okay, I have had ACL surgery. I half the time I don't even remember I have ACL surgery because I don't feel right.
Mhm.
So if we can take away the pain and the constant daily reminder, and then those with TBIs, if we can get them on a healthy diet and a balanced diet so that they can start healing themselves. And I
Mhm.
know that we're cutting it close here, but I also, on the psychiatry end, I know that there are programs out there that they're allowing soldiers to experiment with shrooms.
Yeah.
Be open to alternative medicines.
Right.
And look into alternative medicines like that to reprogram your brain if you have severe post traumatic. There are psychiatrists and programs out there. I wish that it was readily available for information. It's not, and it needs to be. But you have to do your homework.
Yeah. And that, honey, do we still have that lady on our website that does the doTERRA?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so Jan,
My sister-in-law, yeah, my
yeah,
sister-in-law did the
Holly
doTERRA.
Miller.
Holly Miller. Okay, so yeah, that doTERRA she's talking about, that's on our website too, and that
It's
also
amazing.
goes, buy from there. That also goes to
They have a
veterans.
detox. Yeah. And they have a detox. And this
Uh-huh.
is what I recommend for every veteran is doing that detox of the lung, the colon. It detoxes all of your organs, your kidneys and everything else, and flush that shit out so that way your body can start to heal. And once the body keeps score.
Yeah.
That's a book that everybody should read. The Body Keeps Score. So if we can reset the body to a new game,
And that's
let's
for
do it.
anyone. That's everyone needs. We're all eating crap that is full of stuff that we should not be eating. And the older you get, the more you realize, used to that was just like, yeah, whatever, this is what people have been eating forever. No, it's not. That's the thing. It is not what we've been eating forever.
I come from farm fresh, garden fresh, and the past 5 years I've had to eat out of a big box chain store that I don't appreciate. And I've gone to Hungry Root and I've gone back to all organic, and I see a difference in my kids. I see a difference in myself, and our attitudes are better. There is no artificial this or that. So even if you have a limited budget, Hungry Root is the way to go. It's $150 for my family a week. A week, where at the store I was spending 500, 600, and there's no waste, and it's all healthy. So there are options, and they do your dietary,
Yeah,
whatever you prefer, and then they have the meals ready, and you 15 minutes and you're done cooking, and you have
that
a healthy
works good.
portion meal.
For two of us, that would be great. We could do that real easy. The other two don't eat very much, so that's not, it's not so bad. And from what I understand, they give bigger portions than really one person can eat. Even if you put down two people or one person, it's more than
Oh,
one person.
Hungry Root?
Yeah,
No, no, I tell you what, it's perfectly proportioned here. Perfectly proportioned, and that's between a teenager. I have no leftovers ever.
that's
Ever.
what we need.
And so there's no waste. So now you're getting from your small businesses that support our veterans. You're getting, because that's where Hungry Root gets their stuff from. And you're supporting organic. You're not supporting, our pesticide GMO companies. And you're doing wonders for yourself, and then you become a better you, and when you become a better you, then you can help others become a better them
Yeah.
by educating and living by example.
And that's something our son said, in Japan, we were talking about the differences in food and things like that. And there's not all you can eat buffets and things like that there. But besides that, the things that they offer you, the cheap things in Japan, are the healthy things. Here, you go to do organic, you go to do, whatever, it's expensive. Fruits and vegetables there are cheap. You can eat those all day long and be broke.
Right, and I think that's what I like about Hungry Root, because now it's realistic, it's
Mhm.
tangible for me to eat organic.
Yeah.
And I know that there's other places out there that you can get yours from. I specifically use Hungry Root. I'm not promoting them or anything. Actually, I mean, do it. I mean, if you feel like it's a fit for you, do it. Don't do it because I told you to do it. Do it because you want to do it. But look into it, and see. And their meals are delicious. I have to tell
What
you,
I've
four
heard.
ingredients for a meal, and you're like, and then you eat it, and you're like, hey, now I should have been doing this a long time ago.
I've heard that it actually tastes good. It's not.
I had hummus for the first time.
I did too the other day, and absolutely not. Oh, uh.
I had it on fish baked,
Hmm.
so it was a little bit different. And I liked it that way. And I didn't like it not baked, but oh man, I don't know.
I
And
had it in. It was like little pretzels, and it had a little cup on top, and it was like red pepper, bell pepper hummus, and oh,
Abby has had a thing for chocolate avocado that's basically flavored with chocolate, natural chocolate, and she, oh man, she's digging it, literally digging it
sounds
out
great.
with and grain-free granola, because let's look at it. And that's another thing, is these soldiers coming back. They don't need gluten in their system. They don't. Get off the gluten, get off the grease, get off the fast foods, and get onto that cauliflower noodles. Get onto the grain, your grainless granola and stuff like that, because that grain's hard to process, and we need to get the vitamins in you. Instead of working overdrive to process all of that, you need something simple to break down so your body can heal faster and absorb more. So grain is not always the best thing either. I
Okay, well, we are at time.
Yes,
And I've got a
exactly.
big man standing over me here.
I'm just enjoying the conversation, to be honest with you.
I don't know how he's staying awake. I know that I am not, but
Thank you, you two, for having me on. It's
thank
always a pleasure.
Well,
you.
thank you.
And I will talk to you soon.
All right, I love you guys where you're at.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Because I don't know what I'm
All right.
doing.
All right, everybody. That was Adrienne and Jan. They take part every year. They've taken part all 4 years. As you get to see me coming in and sitting down, which is not an attractive thing to have to look at, but we are moving along, and it is time for us to take and make the switch. We need to move to I believe it is our 6th segment. So wow, we're moving along. We've got a couple guests right at the top of the hour. You are watching Mission for Healthy Heroes. I love the topic about the food. Look, we've talked a lot of the last couple hours about health and nutrition and the benefits of that, and it's just alternate. We are going to be talking a little bit later tonight about some of the other stuff, including virtual reality treatment. I did a little bit of study on this virtual reality treatment. And as a matter of fact, 2 years ago, we had a segment where people were playing video games and they were able to be themselves as the way they were in the service. They were able to be themselves again and talk the way that they talked and communicate the way that they were taught to communicate. And it was just a place where they got to be who they were when they were trained, and it was really neat to watch the camaraderie. I'll be honest, I didn't understand a lot of it because I've never been part of that. So, but we are heading into like I said, the 6th segment. We are heading into our number 12. We are over halfway there now. 1 hour over halfway. So that means we've got 1 hour less than halfway to go. That's okay. You guys are all making it wonderful. You're doing a wonderful job. I need you all to please do me a favor, and the red QR code, when you see hello dog, the red QR code, that is how you get to the website, communitypayitforward.us/mission for healthy heroes. Please go onto the website. Uh, Thank you, Joanna, and it's good to see you're still sticking around. You were up early. Somebody told me that you were up early. I don't know who that was. They said, "Yeah, this person popped in 4:45." I mean, it was amazing. Yeah, it was the other guy that looked like me, I think. He was a little bit smarter than I am though now, but anyway, go if you use the red QR code. Okay, it'll take you to communitypayitforward/mission for healthy heroes. There you can look at all of the merchandise, the hoodies, the shirts, the sweaters, not sweaters, but the hoodies, the shirts. There's long sleeve and short sleeve t-shirts. We're going to add some more to it, but check them out. If you want to order, we get a portion of every purchase made. With every purchase made, a portion is going to go to rebuild this front door and the wheelchair ramp for a current serving soldier in Colorado Springs. He's at the Air Force Academy. His daughter is wheelchair bound. We are raising money today for that project and our friends at Veterans Honoring Veterans. You can also donate to us directly by using this QR code. One of the other things you can do with this QR code is you can take and you can leave a message for these heroes, for our first responders. Get your voices heard. you're too shy to come up and speak right here, that's fine. You can tell me, hey, Zach, I just want to say this to our heroes. Please let them know, exactly like Thomas McNichol said. Simple thank you for your service. And Thomas McNichol walked away with a For My Card 1-year subscription. He will be getting that For My Card. If you'd like to check it out, this is my For My Card. It is my digital business card. But it is time for us to switch. So do me a favor, take a break, refresh your router, and join me in just one moment on the other side of, well, this break off.